Snipers, you have to see what's happening to the cryptocurrency market today, as I am proud to say that we are starting to see the early signs of a successful rescue operation crossing back above 34,788 today. I'm going to show you this micro time frame on the hourly chart because everything morphs from the smaller time frames into the larger time frames, as we all know, tuned into the Snipers channel. And so far, we're seeing light volume. The path of least resistance is always going to be sideways to a little bit higher when there's low volume. We're testing an important structural resistance level right now, and that's showing confluence here with the $34,788 level. We are closing hourly candles above this area. So far, we do have a bearish hourly candle. However, on the 4-hour chart, we are seeing a different picture. We're seeing a continuation candle, at least as what it looks like so far. And in my opinion, inside of the 1-minute chart, this is where all of the clues will come. When you're testing an important level, you're going to start to see where the volume is going to start leaning towards, whether it's bullish or bearish. And so far, as we're testing 34,788, we're seeing some very good buy volume with no sellers in sight, indicating to me as an umpire that once this flag pattern finishes consolidating, maybe we come down, retest a couple more levels down here, I think we're going to start to see Bitcoin grind its way above the weekly open at 35,600. And now we can start looking at some upside scenarios. And of course, the downside is still always going to be on the table here at that $32,000 level. However, for now, we've claimed 34,780. So let's start talking about the early signs of a rescue operation. For those that have been tuned into the channel, all we have now is a low and a lower low forming. We saw some really good volume on the 6-hour chart coming down below 30,000. You can see a lot of buyers here and a lot of buyers here, with the volume indicating that there's stronger buyers and sellers at these lower levels, as we've been talking about. In my opinion, the upside scenario is also back on the table. So let's start discussing that. And as I talked about yesterday, once we cross that $34,788 level, we can become a lot more calm and realize that this is the early signs of a successful rescue operation for Bitcoin if we're staying above 34,788. And I want to talk about what's happening to altcoins, because we're seeing some interesting price action with the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart showing weakness, as we talked about, heading towards that 53,000 Satoshi level. I still expect some weakness with some of these altcoins. I don't think all of these altcoins are going to start to show weakness, but we are below the 200-day moving average right now. And when we look at others' dominance, we're testing an important multi-year support level. And more importantly, on the weekly chart where there's confluence with the 20-week moving average, this is the first candle since the start of the altcoin rally to start really coming down to test home base at the 20-week moving average. So I think we need to be a little bit cautious with altcoins. I do also believe, though, that as garden variety market behavior likes to say, when you test an important level, typically there will be a reaction. And so I still think it's possible to form another high here for the altcoin market, and we could see a lower high or a higher high form. But I do expect another push to the upside, a rally from the 12.2% altcoin dominance level. And I think that we're going to start to see a migration from a lot of the meme coins, a lot of the hype coins that don't have fundamentals, don't have teams, into some of the more stronger, fundamentally sound projects, some of the more upcoming projects that like Cardano or Solana or Kusama, all of these platforms that are really trying to change the cryptocurrency market in a better way. I think that's where we're going to start to see institutional and retail capital flow towards. So we could assume that we're forming sort of this bearish or this bullish flag here with the others dominance chart before we're going to see another push to the upside. I don't think that's off the table, since we're still holding this major level and we're starting to see the Bitcoin chart show some positive signs. And if we continue above 34,788, then I think that we'll start to see this Bitcoin dominance chart slow down a little bit from the excitement it's having lately, from all of the fear in the market. But a test of the 20-week moving average at some point in the next few weeks is on the table. So we'll continue to monitor Bitcoin dominance. I think that we can't just take that off the table when we are starting to see some weekly candles show some bullish action, and there's a potential reversal on the table if we cross, intently above the 20-week moving average. And then we're going to take a look at traditional markets, as we always do in the Snipers channel. I want to slow down a little bit today to make sure you guys have an understanding of what I'm expecting as we head into the weekend, because Friday is going to come, and then the most manipulated time in the crypto market is Saturday and Sunday because of CME futures being closed. So how we enter into the weekend is going to matter. And the DXY, as we've been talking about, has been showing some calmness above this 200-day moving average, which has been the preferred scenario for us to see the successful rescue operation for Bitcoin. The S&P 500 coming up to form new highs today. As a matter of fact, 4260, you can see it did form a new all-time high today. So that was the confirmation we wanted from the traditional markets, to assume some strong outside influence to allow the cryptocurrency market to see a relief rally, which it's yet to see since the 50% drop from Bitcoin. And traditional markets outside of the US are also looking fairly positive today. So the environment looks good. Bitcoin is rescuing itself, conquering an important level. The bulls have been able to get back to 34,788, and the volume and psychology, as we talked about in our video yesterday, is showing that this could be a potential lower low before we start to see further upside from this consolidation pattern, where we could start heading towards the weekly open first to conquer that at 35,600. That's going to be the first roadblock. We get above the weekly open, we have 36,500. I think that that's going to be a no-brainer. I think really we'll see Bitcoin test the monthly open at 37,200. So really staying above 34,788 is going to continue the schematics we've been tracking over the last 3 weeks. And so if we were to take a target here and we look at where we could potentially go from here, there's a potential we could head right below that $50,000 big even. If we look at the daily chart, that shows confluence with a retest of the 100 period moving average here on the daily chart. That's going to start curving down here. Are we going to start to see the early signs? I think a confirmation above 34,788 is going to confirm this scenario, and that's exactly where we're at right now. So we have to discuss what's happening in the micro time frames as they develop into the macro time frames, as we always do on the Snipers channel. My name is Naeem Al-Abeidi. Remember to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. So as we've already kind of covered the summary here, I want to talk about the 4-hour chart, and then we'll get into more of the smaller time frames, because we know on the Snipers channel, when you come to an important level, the first thing you want to do is look at the smaller time frames to see how is price action reacting to this level. So now that we've come up to test 34,788, on the 4-hour, things are looking good. We're not seeing any sort of bearish signs just yet. We're seeing a lot of green candles form over the last 4 hours. And then when we go into the 1-hour chart, we're seeing garden variety market behavior with the hourly candle rejecting itself above 34,788. And so that's not a bad thing. It's an hourly close above. Now we want to see a 4-hour close above 34,800. And if we get that 4-hour close, I think that we could assume that Bitcoin is going to grind its way back up towards the $50,000 level. Of course, we do have a lot of resistance levels on the way, but as long as we stay above 34,780, I think things are going to look good. And when we go into the 15-minute chart, we're seeing a lot of buyers come in. The 1-minute chart, there's no sellers in sight. And these are all hints to me that this is going to be an easy level for the bulls to reclaim. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Of course, if things change, then I'll update you guys. If we start to see some weakness and we come back down towards 32,000, then of course, we're going to have to start looking at the downsides again. But for now, we're leaning towards the upside. We're getting towards our confirmation level, and that's a positive thing. And so that's what I'm watching with Bitcoin. The environment outside of Bitcoin is looking good. And so could we expect altcoins to see continuation? I think that that's very possible. Is this the absolute bottom? That's also a possible scenario here, because in previous bull markets, when we've broken an all-time high like Ethereum here, when we broke 1440, that was a previous all-time high. In the past, if you look at market cycles, we've never come back to test a previous all-time high. So is this the curvature that we need here to start seeing a reversal in the overall markets? It's on the table right now with Ethereum above 1980. It has a straight shot towards 2510 at the previous weekly open to retest that. If we start to see some strong bullish momentum with Bitcoin above 34,788, Ethereum could certainly start to come up towards that level. I'm expecting a lot of volatility. But overall, on the macro to micro picture, we have to realize, I think Ethereum might see some short-term weakness. If we come down towards this 53,000 Satoshi level, it looks like we're still seeing some weakness. But overall, on the macro, I think that this is a bullish opportunity. So I think sooner than later, we're going to get a confirmation that it's time to really have some positions in Ethereum if we're going to see this bounce here at 53,500 Satoshis. But for now, I think we can still play the game with Bitcoin, because there's still a little bit of fear in the market, but it seems like it's starting to subside, especially if Bitcoin is able to maintain price action above 34,788. That could all change, but for now, it's looking like it is holding well, and what looks like a duck and what talks like a duck and what walks like a duck, 8 out of 10 times is a duck. And so we have to use the duck rule, right? And that's how markets work. 2 out of 10 times, it's not a duck, and that's fine. That's why there's odds and ratios, right? An 80 to 20 percentage is not a bad thing. So if it looks like a duck, follow the duck until it's not. And when you realize it's not a duck, you know, those are the market opportunities that just don't turn out in the trader's favor. And there's always those opportunities that are coming off and on the table. So I think that with the cryptocurrency market right now, it's really a game on who are we really, you know, expecting to see stay in this market in the next 5 to 10 years. And those are the coins that we want to start investing in, right? So I've talked about MakerDAO, Cardano. We'll look into more altcoins further into our videos, but we are wrapping the week up, and I want to talk about where I'd like to see the cryptocurrency market as we head into Friday, into the weekend, where things are the most manipulated, because how we enter into the weekend is going to matter. So I want to see this total cryptocurrency market cap chart now get above the weekly open at $1.46 trillion. I think that closing above that for the week is going to be a positive thing. We tested 1.13 trillion, and right below this is the $1 trillion level. I've been saying I don't expect us to come back to 1 trillion. So far, it looks good. So we want to get above this 200-day moving average, of course, but getting above the weekly open will get us there. So I think that 1.46 trillion for the total market cap is going to be something I'd like to see heading into the weekend. Bitcoin dominance and others dominance, I'm not going to focus too much on right now because they are testing major levels, but they're having a cup of coffee. So until we find some direction there, it's not as much of a priority for me. And then heading into the weekend with Bitcoin, above 34,788, once again, is the key level there. And when we start to see the traditional markets close tomorrow, what I'd like to see is still some calmness with the DXY. The S&P 500 grinding further up is also a positive thing. I wouldn't mind seeing that. We just don't want to see any sort of sell action or some sell volume come in heading into Friday, because we want the traditional markets to be calm heading into the weekend. And I think that's going to be the perfect storm for Bitcoin to see the upside scenario that we're talking about here, fulfilling the schematics of this triangle, finally seeing the relief rally that we've been waiting for. And that could take Bitcoin up towards that $50,000 level. It's on the table above 34,788. So let's watch for that. That's a 40% upside potential. And with that, I appreciate each and every one of you guys tuned into the Snipers channel. I'm going to be monitoring Bitcoin for the price action. We've been entering longs and shorts throughout this consolidation. And as we start to see Bitcoin transition, that's going to be the next opportunity for all of us. And so I'm excited. If you want to win Mastering Bitcoin, comment below, share this video, and I will pick a winner from our video yesterday. Freedom Channel says, sometimes I don't sleep for days waiting for your next video. That means a lot, man. Send me a message on Instagram, and you want to book Freedom Channel. If you guys want to enter into this giveaway, comment below, share this video. And with that, I appreciate each and every one of you guys tuned into the channel once again. Until next time, Snipers